Chapter 4, Earning and Borrowing Money. Hi guys, and welcome to a new episode on this channel. Today we will be talking about earning and borrowing. So how have we get started already? What is this earning and borrowing about? Well, there's a lot that we can talk about during earning and borrowing. Firstly, when to earn stuff, we try to make the stuff itself. But then, what about the borrowing stuff? Well, I learned my lesson when I allowed some person like grade 2 to borrow my money, let him borrow my money, 5 yuan of my money, and then I wanted to buy something, but it costed 6 yuan, and I tried to get him to pay me back, and then because he wanted something, he spent it, and then they gave me back all the money they owed. So I didn't use it, by the way. My mom told me not to. And I bought another 10 kwan next time. And then boom, I've been able to buy that cup for lunch. Yum, yum. And then from then on, somebody asked me if I can loan them my money. And I remember that time, so I was like, no. Because I really wanted to buy something. But I didn't want to lose my money again. So I decided not to borrow my money ever again. And if I do have a savings account, I'll be like, don't touch it for a year because I don't really like spending money that much. I already have enough of my money, and let the money grow. Eventually, I'll just spend only a bit of that money, and then eventually I'll just go and get that more of that money. Boom. And then each year I just get a little bit of that money and grow richer and richer, but I don't have a savings account, so yeah. And I do move a lot, so I'm probably just gonna start one when I'm an adult, so yeah. And then there's a lot that can happen. A lot of people, whenever you have debts, you always have to pay them back. And sometimes, every month, if you just still don't pay it, their debt goes larger and larger. And then you have to be very careful when you're about using money. And whenever you use money, you have to be very careful. And whenever you can't pay back money, then anything that you use, anything that you bought with your money will be taken to the bank. It's now the bank's property. Yikes. And then, so eventually, let's say that these two women want to buy this camping van. So, and they have 1 year to give them back the money. And so after a year, they've been able to give back the money. And they're like, woohoo, no more payments. The camper van is finally ours. Let's go on a trip to celebrate. And yeah, it's like that. And then eventually, inflation happened. Inflation is really useless because it means more of these things that happen. If you actually owed $5, but then because of interest, you have to pay back $15,000. I'm like, what the mom? Yeah, like that. And eventually, here are a few tips to actually get out of debt. Talk to lender to see if you can pay back just similar chunks over time. You can also freeze the debt for make it stay the same amount of debt for a month, and while you're making the money like that. And then package it up. Some people owe things to make people and companies at the same time. It can be a bit confusing. One option is to take out a big loan to pay off those debts, so it's easier to manage. And just write it off. Put it in an IOU note. And yeah, and ask for help. Ask for local governments and that. And that was how it works. Some people even get hacked into 8 million. Some people even get tricked into giving their own money away. Like one person lost a lot of dollars, and they asked a lot of these university stuff to ask for $8 million. And the university sends him $8 million. And then after the $8 million were sent, they were figured out that somebody, nobody knows who was yet, belonged to a fraudster and stole the money, not an actual company. So they've been more careful after this happened. And whenever you have a safety tips, always change your passwords regularly. Just like how games can happen throughout and how you can get hacked in games, always try to change your passwords regularly. Have always a really useful defense system that you have. Like a virtual shield, a virtual man, a virtual sword so that it can fight off infections. Oh wait, here's an infection. Hey, and yeah, just like that. Always make sure that anything you do related to the internet is always safe. And that's the end of this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next episode. Shanahan out. Peace. Energized.